Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Benjamin Serven, founder and CEO of Black Sheep Global, and the mastermind behind Processes Made Simple. Benjamin is revolutionizing property management across North America by helping businesses streamline workflows, boost accountability, and achieve operational excellence. How are you doing today, Benjamin?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, super excited to have you on. You're doing some pretty cool things, and I think a lot of people out there are going to want to hear a bit more about it. But to start off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
Down here south in Houston, Texas, where it's terribly cold at about 40 degrees.
Yeah, yeah. People say terribly cold, or they'll use some modifier. I'm like, okay, well, define terribly cold because it's a regional thing where it's like, oh, it's 60 degrees and I'm in Florida. I might not make it. It's like, well, that's, that's something. So, are you a lifelong Texan, or are you newer to the
No,
area?
no, I've only been in Texas for the last 12 years. So, moved here back in 2013, I think it was. Yeah. So, a few years still.
Well, for those that haven't visited Texas or in particular the Houston area, if you have friends coming over that have never been there, where are you taking them? What are you doing? Where are you taking them to
Mm.
eat?
Okay, so this is a funny thing about Houston is that there's a lot of cool things to do here, but they're all inside because Houston is just horrible during the majority of the year. It's super sweaty, super humid, but there's lots of cool things to do inside, including a lot of fantastic food because Houston is such a coastal city. The international food here is amazing, and a personal favorite for me would be Vietnamese. So anybody who comes to visit me in Houston, we're going to be going to get some amazing Vietnamese food, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, and it would have to be hot if you're thinking 40 degrees is cold. So
Oh yeah.
there's some hints there. So awesome, awesome. So what can you tell us about what you're doing?
Sure. Well, Black Sheep Global is initially started as a consulting company. I have spent a few years in the space, been about 5 years in this space of serving property managers through technology and automation. And I kind of fell into this as an entrepreneur myself. I'd been working for another company, had left that company and gone back into some other avenues, and then had some old clients who reached out and said, "Hey Ben, can you help us out with a little gig work?" And I'm never one to say no to opportunity, so I took those gigs, and pretty soon those gigs replaced my W-2 and turned Black Sheep Global into what it is today, which is a consulting firm and implementation company that helps property managers build out their tech stack to optimize efficiency, build their teams, and basically help that owner to have more visibility in their business, have consistent workflows, and allow their team to scale and grow the way they want.
Okay. Well, I guess, what in particular kind of, caught your interest in this space with the automations, the workflows, and especially into, who you're helping. Kind of what was the trigger there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, give you a little bit of background. My professional experience until I started Black Sheep Global was primarily in the space of sales and service. And being a lifelong sales and service guy, customer service is one of those things that just matters to me a lot. And so when I see there being places in the industry, really not just in the industry, but anywhere, when I see poor customer service experiences, I'm like, oh, I gotta fix that. I could do a better job of that. I bet I can make something that would be better than what it is. So I had landed in the property management technology space, had worked for some companies, kind of got some experience in the industry, and my rep within the industry was customer service. People love the way I work, and then kind of falling into the technology side of the equation was more of an accident. I didn't realize that I was a technology nerd until I started working, and it was like, oh man, I really love this stuff. So I did realize pretty shortly that I was a process nerd, and I think that was kind of what um, made the technology piece a lot more interesting since technologies are so process driven. When I started realizing that, then processes just kind of became life. You can see it's on my shirt right now. Trust the process. So we've really fallen into this space of looking at processes everywhere we go, whether it's in businesses or in families. When you go to see a movie or you're going to get gas, right? There's processes all around us. And sometimes they're technology processes and sometimes they're people processes. So I love just looking for processes everywhere. And I think it drives some people a little bit crazy because, I go to a restaurant, I'm like, okay, how did they develop this menu? And, what's the process that each waiter is going through when they come to the table? And how often are they stopping and why? And all these things. I find those fascinating just to dig into.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially on the technology side where it's like I didn't know I was going to be into it, and then you start messing with it. Oh, this is my language. I really
Yeah,
like this. So
yeah,
that's what I like
100%.
about entrepreneurship. You're trying a bunch of different things that you don't know if whether or not you don't know what you don't know, and then you start doing something. It's like this makes sense to me. I could do this. I could see this, and then kind of
Yeah.
tweaking it and making it your own. I really really like that. What do you think your favorite thing is that you're doing now?
Man, probably my favorite thing has to be developing opportunities for other people. That's been a lifelong dream. Jumping into entrepreneurship and being able to hire people and develop opportunities that way was kind of one check mark. But then being able to provide a business to business service that helps my clients grow and expand their businesses was a huge unexpected benefit. It's like, oh my gosh, I can have a really massive impact in this small company and they can double or triple or quadruple over the time that I'm working with them and experience massive benefit from them.
What are some things you learned early on, maybe some hard-won lessons or something that you see other entrepreneurs doing that you would advise, people that are just starting off their entrepreneurship journey, or maybe they've been in a while that you would just advise, hey, look out for this. This is a stumbling block, and how'd you get over it?
Yeah. So I'm going to harp on process for a minute because I think this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs miss. What I've observed is that there's really two types of entrepreneurs, and I'm going to use some verbiage from a book called Traction that you may be familiar with that talks about the philosophy of EOS. There are integrators and there are visionaries, and the majority of entrepreneurs are visionaries. They've got a big idea. They can force themselves to make it happen and they just do things, right? They see the opportunity and make it happen. And that's great. The problem is that's inherently unscalable. And you need to be able to make repeatable processes in order for your company to actually go beyond day one. So, what I encourage all my clients to do, and really any entrepreneur that I talk with, is to document. And that can be as simple as making sure that you are writing down a list of the tasks that you're doing on your phone, or creating a quick screen recording of how you do various tasks, but basically giving yourself a trail of documentation as you build your business. If you want to go anywhere past just you being the person running the business, you've got to have documentation and you've got to have training material. I think that's one of the number one missed opportunities for most entrepreneurs who are just starting out.
Do you know what you are? Are you more of a visionary or?
I am more of a visionary, but I do have integrator tendencies. Being in the technology space and doing what I do, kind of by default, I have to make myself more of an integrator. But I have found someone on my team who is more of an integrator than I am, so that works out really well. And I can lean more into the visionary tasks, and he takes more of our integrator tasks.
Actually pretty timely. I had a friend of mine send me this quiz where it's supposed to tell you whether you're an integrator or a visionary, and I got middle of the road on both.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm kind of not good at anything. No, but it was pretty funny, real timely that came up. So awesome. What does an average client look like for you? So like, what are some pain points that somebody might be dealing with that if they're going through, you're the person that they should talk to?
Yeah, great question. So we serve the property management community mostly. We do have a few realtors and real estate agents that we work with, but primarily we're working with third-party property management companies, so managing other people's properties. Typically, they are single-family properties versus multifamily or commercial, and then they are typically somewhere around 200 to 300 doors under management. So that's kind of our client profile. We have people who are bigger, smaller. We serve a lot of different companies, but that's kind of our average. And as far as what they look like, I think most people who listen to this podcast will be able to empathize with this. Their business is running, but they don't know exactly how. They have team members who they think they can rely on, but when people walk out, then everything goes and hits the fan. Um, and things are just generally unknown. There's a lack of clarity in the business, and they need visibility. So what we help them do is create that visibility, create the systems and the clarity that allows their business to keep running when people are, taking time off or are sick or what have you. and also give those companies the clarity that they need to be able to look at their operations in a more tactical way instead of just kind of making some educated guesses and hoping that things work out.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're able to go and help those companies double, triple, quadruple, and you really like seeing that. Do you have any examples on, hey, I was able to come in and we did this and this is what it turned into?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a client out in, I think they're in Spokane, Washington. When I first started working with them about 2 years ago, they were at 75 doors, and just earlier this year they passed 900. So they are definitely one of our biggest success stories. They have gone through not only organic growth of, hiring a business development manager and pounding the pavement and picking up clients, but they have also very wisely, I think, gone after acquisitions. They've gradually looked for opportunities within smaller property management companies and continue to purchase those and build their systems in such a way so that they can handle that new growth. And another success story, we got a client here in Houston who I think started with us at about, I want to say probably 50 or 60 doors, and I think they are now at about 300. So we've been able to see some really cool growth stories, and similarly, although maybe less exciting, we've had some companies who have come to us with, say, 1,000 doors or 1,200 doors who are continuing to lose clients because they have grown to the point where they can't really support the weight of the business anymore without the systems. And we've been able to help them kind of reverse flow and stop losing clients and move in the opposite direction of growth. Perhaps not quite as significantly, right? When the business is bigger, things move slower, but being able to reverse the negative trend of business walking away and helping them retain more of their clients.
Yeah, that's super important. I think a lot of us overlook that is, it's not just about acquiring clients, but also keeping what you have.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
ones you have, they were hard earned. You earned their business, and then they're walking away, and that's just lost opportunity. So
Yeah, lost
that's a
opportunity and lost revenue. That's really the big piece. I think
Mhm.
it's always sexy and exciting to go for new business, right? But you're leaving so much money on the table by not providing great experiences to your existing clients. And when you have them, you don't have to pay for them again, right? You don't have that acquisition cost of having to hire someone to go out and track those people down and get them to close and all those things. You could sell your services again and again and again. In the property management space, it's a wonderful opportunity to help your clients grow their portfolios, right? You have a corner on the market, help your clients buy more properties so you can manage them for them, right? It's so much easier to just take care of your existing clients. Not that you shouldn't do external growth, but there's so much opportunity, I think, that's left on the table.
Absolutely. Growth is important, but maintenance is right there. And like you said, it's not as sexy. It doesn't get as much
Yeah.
attention as it
Yeah.
should. So, how about power partners? What are other industries or other professionals that you're able to synergize well with? Maybe you guys have similar clientele that you're able to refer back and forth and, provide assistance to one another.
That's a really good question. So most of the people who we give referrals to and receive referrals from are within the property management space. In this particular space, there's a lot of different technology. In my opinion, there's not as much service. So we often are receiving referrals from technology providers, and in turn, we refer our clients to them as we see products that are a great fit for our clients to use.
Awesome. Yeah, because that's important to know too. I think a lot of us that are starting off as our entrepreneur journey don't realize that we can't do everything ourselves and do it well, right? Partnering and synergizing with other people that are, growing your circle, finding others that can handle the bits that where if you hear something, go, you know what, I'm not the person to help you out,
Yeah.
but Benjamin is. Let me make that introduction. Super important to know. So what inspired you to create Process Made Simple? How is it transforming property management businesses?
Yeah, so Processes Made Simple was born out of a desire to help property management company team members grow. Um, Entrepreneurs have a lot of resources. Entrepreneurs have clubs. We've got different groups that you can be a part of. There are different conferences. There's so many resources that are available. And for the business owner, it's much easier for you to, mentally say, well, I'm going to invest in my own growth. I'm going to spend some money. I'm going to go do this thing, right? However, for a small company, your team, while you're going to push them to grow and develop within that particular space that you're working in, they don't really automatically get any other type of training or development. And what I've observed is in larger companies, right, you have the capacity to have a training team and have all these development resources and to put dedicated people just in the space of growing your team. But in small companies, that's not the case. And my observation is that those individual team members often get kind of left behind. Or they are trailing the owner. And when I think about growing a business, what I'm hoping for, and I'm starting to experience, which is super cool, is I'm no longer the smartest person in the room. I'm being able to, number one, hire people who are really, really good, and then number two, give them the resources and development opportunities to grow and get way, way better than I am. Um, and that's incredibly powerful. When your team is smarter than you, it's very humbling. So there's a lot of sacrificing of your own ego that has to happen, but it's an incredibly powerful place to be because there's greater opportunities that you're creating for these people who are working for you. And ultimately, it's just like this really cool new frontier that I think most small businesses aren't really considering. The people who work for you are an incredible resource. And I think if you're not investing in them and helping them to grow, then you're really missing out. And that's what we're trying to help. Business owners do by having processes made simple. So we're teaching basically everything that we do at Black Sheep Global to anyone for free. So you can hop into our group and learn all about how we consult with our clients. You can learn about all the different technologies that we use. You can learn about the philosophy that we operate on. And we talk about everything. It's really a no holds barred open forum in many cases. I'll bring on my team and have them talk about me to everybody else. So it's great, and we've had a really cool reception with that so far.
Yeah, that's super important. You want to invest in your team because they're multiplying your efforts, right? That's what they're there
Yeah,
for. So
absolutely.
why would you just let that kind of go? Absolutely. That's awesome. What's the biggest mistake property management teams are making when it comes to workflows and automation?
Hmm. Assuming that they can do it on their own. Now, that's obviously a very self-serving statement, but I'm going to tell you why why I think that's the case. There's a lot of really good technology that's available in the marketplace today. And for many property managers, they have that assumption that I'm just going to take this on myself and I'm going to deal with it and I'm going to figure it out. Um, the problem is that when you have that approach, you as a property management company owner become a generalist, right? You have so much content that is stuck in your brain, you become a massive bottleneck in your business. And that's a number one inhibitor on growth that I've observed. So what I encourage any property manager to do is to think about how can I get rid of responsibility? How can I pass this off, whether it's within your team or externally? If you want to hire a provider like us to help you with technology, we're happy to do that. But you can also do that within your team. Property the owner of the company shouldn't be the person who is the repository of all knowledge and information about how the company runs. It just shouldn't be that way because your company will break down and you will be at the center of it.
How can improving processes enhance tenant and owner satisfaction while driving business growth?
Great question. Um, there's so many different directions to take this, so I will try to keep this not too deep into the weeds here. But if we're thinking about owners in particular, owners are served by having improved processes because they have consistent experience. When a property owner is working with a property management company, one of their chief concerns is ensuring that their property is profitable. But one of their secondary concerns is making sure that they know what's going on and that they're getting taken care of the way that they expect. Now, when you have a consistent process, you can set really clear expectations with your clients. You can also provide automated services and updates so that that client knows exactly what's going on at all times, or as much as you have agreed to provide to them. And that gives them a lot more comfort. Basically, when a property owner is handing over their property to the property management company, usually that's a multi-$100,000 or multi-million dollar potentially asset that that person has maybe lived in, cared about, put a lot of emotional energy into. When they hand over those keys, that's a big risk for them, right? Especially if they don't already have an existing relationship with that property management company. So for the management company to Mistreat that is, again, a big lost opportunity. And building processes and having good automations and workflows allows you to give that consistent service, set clear expectations, and take care of that owner. For your tenants, it's actually very similar. The stakes are just slightly different, right? For the tenant, they don't own the property. They are a resident of the property. That's their home. It's their domicile, their castle. So when they are thinking about their place where they live, they want to feel safe. They want to feel cared for. They want to be listened to. And something as simple as if your tenant sends in a maintenance request, if you don't have an automated email that acknowledges, hey, we've received your request, here's our hours of operation, here's where you can anticipate hearing back from the folks who are handling these requests, you are missing out big time, right? This is very small stuff that can change your entire interaction. And I hate to say it, but this is a very common issue. There's a lot of property management companies in the third-party space who aren't taking advantage of simple technologies like this. And that's something we can help you do and make your tenant experience way better. There's a host of other things that I could get into here, but like I said, I won't go too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm sure. But is there anything that I missed or failed to mention that you wanted to add before we ended this?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
For those that want to go down that rabbit hole, for those that are like, okay, that's a nice scratch. I would like to learn a little bit more about XYZ. How can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. Head to our website. It's processesmadesimple.io. You can also visit us if you're a property manager and you're looking for help. Head to blacksheepglobal.net. We'd love to hear from you. I can chat with you, help you evaluate whether our service is really the best fit for you. We're not the best fit for everyone, so we try to do a deep evaluation and make sure that it's a good fit all the way around. We'd love to hear from you and talk with you more.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get in touch with Benjamin, absolutely do it. Reach out to him. You're going to have an awesome conversation. You're going to learn a lot more go afterwards than going into it. So I highly recommend doing that. I'm going to put everything in the description so it's easy to find. If you're excuse me, if you're a little bit more shy and you prefer an introduction, feel free, ask me. I'm happy to make those three-way introductions as well. Otherwise, you can feel free to visit me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to the newsletter, and connect with our growing community. If you are somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website to be a guest. But Benjamin, I really appreciate you taking the time and connecting with us. I know there's a lot more we can go into, and I'm excited to see kind of what you guys are able to do and see how I can help you in any way. But I really, really thank you. Cat decides to run in. I really thank you for coming on and sharing that with us. But let's all have an awesome day and go out there and grow our circles.
Sounds great.